What does it truly take for a brand to go beyond its product? To become more than just something you buy, to become like a real cultural phenomenon, a statement, maybe even a movement. Today, we're diving deep into the Jig Is Up. Now, this is a brand that has completely redefined how cannabis is presented, perceived, and experienced. It's not just about the product itself, it's about this bold cultural statement they made, flipping the script on the whole industry, really showing us how creative vision can turn a simple commodity into, well, into coveted art.
Yeah, and our insights for this deep dive today, they come straight from some really compelling excerpts. They're titled The Jig Is Up, Craft Culture and Cannabis Hype, and they're from Nug Notes. So we're going to unpack this fascinating and, let's be honest, sometimes audacious story behind how they rose so quickly.
Right. And our mission here today is really to uncover the specific strategies, that truly unique artistic vision, and yeah, the sheer audacity that made the Jig Is Up a name that literally jumped coasts. It sparked this dedicated movement among connoisseurs, among collectors. So get ready because you're about to see how a product can become this canvas for sharp commentary, rich nostalgia, and some genuinely groundbreaking innovation.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start right at the blueprint with the founder, This Not Jig. That quote from them, "I knew numbers before letters," that really struck me. It suggests such a deeply ingrained understanding of the strategy, the hustle, almost primal. But translating that raw energy into a brand vision, especially for something so crucial as your first packaging, that must have been a huge challenge. How did that mindset show up in their very first designs?
Well, that's a crucial point, isn't it? Because for most brands, packaging is often, an afterthought. It's just a container. But for the Jig Is Up, our sources tell us the bags were seen as proof of vision right from day one. It wasn't just about holding the product. It was about embodying the brand's entire ethos, their ambition. Every stitch, every graphic choice, it was an extension of that foundational, hustler's mindset. And that immediately communicated a level of intention that just set them apart.
Okay, so the packaging wasn't just pretty, it was like a mission statement you could actually hold. How early did the market catch on that this brand was, well, different?
Well, the brand's first major splash, the one that really got everyone talking, that came in late 2022, was the 730 drop. And the name itself, 730, was this clever flip on New York's psych code, right? Often associated with involuntary psych holds. So that immediately gave it this layer of street cred and insider knowledge, hinting at something disruptive, maybe a bit rebellious.
And packaging itself.
A striking chrome straitjacket bag, holding what they described as candy gas flower. It was bold, provocative, definitely.
But launching with such a raw, edgy image. I mean, a chrome straitjacket bag, candy gas flower. Surely that came with risks. Was there a worry it might alienate some people or maybe be seen as too edgy even for the cannabis space?
That's a really good question about calculated risk. And while it certainly pushed boundaries, the quick success of 730 actually showed how much that combination resonated. It was this mix of distinctive, evocative aesthetics and a high-quality product. That dual approach immediately established both desirability and credibility right out of the gate.
But how does a brand achieve that flawless coupling, as you put it? It sounds easy, but it's got to be tough.
It's about designing every single touch point, really. From the visuals, the strain names, even the sort of undertones in the product description. It all has to reflect that same rebellious spirit and unwavering commitment to quality that defines the product itself. When you have that congruence, that undeniable consistency, the brand story feels completely authentic, not just tacked on, And that's incredibly powerful for building trust and excitement fast, even with a provocative launch like 730.
And the impact was just, wow, undeniable. By January 2023, just a couple of months later, it wasn't niche anymore. It landed on High Times editor John Capetta's coveted cop list. And just like that, the name jumped coasts. That's an incredibly fast climb for a new player. What does that rapid market entry tell us about their initial strategy?
Well, zooming out a bit, the quick success of 730 really crystallized this idea that the Jig Is Up understood a critical gap in the market. They weren't just selling cannabis, they were selling this carefully constructed identity. The speed it jumped coasts suggests they tapped into a real desire for authenticity, for a distinct voice that was, frankly, missing. It points to a perfectly timed, highly targeted launch that immediately got people talking, built loyalty, and set this powerful precedent for everything that came after. It wasn't just hype. It was cultivated buzz backed by real quality and a unique story.
Yeah, that immediate impact of 730 really did set a new benchmark. It wasn't just selling a product, it was selling a story, an experience. And that philosophy, it seems, was woven into every release after that, truly living up to their motto that every bag talks back. So what did that actually mean for the consumer? The strains weren't just generic names, right? They were like statements. We saw electric chair, which sounds like a pretty clear skewering of the system. Then sonic rings tapping into Sega nostalgia, promising citrus speed, and rainbow fish swimming into psychedelic territory. The smoke itself was described as pressure, indicating top quality, but the art, the visuals, went way beyond just looking cool. It was commentary. What kind of commentary were they making? How did that elevate things?
Well, this whole approach raises a really interesting question. How many brands do you actually see using their whole product line as a vehicle for social commentary or, nostalgic storytelling? The commentary really ranged, didn't it, from those pointed social critiques like electric chair to more playful, almost whimsical, nostalgic nods with things like sonic rings. The art made each bag this mini statement, a conversation starter. And that's a remarkably powerful way to engage people. It turns buying into discovery, into connection, not just consumption. It makes you feel like you're part of something, well, deeper, something with meaning.
But it wasn't just clever art, was it?
Right.
That artistic ambition didn't mean they skimped on substance. That commentary was always backed by serious, uncompromising quality. Let's talk about their microbatch discipline. We're not talking mass production here, not industrial scale.
Yeah, definitely not.
We're talking hand-selected Northern California lots, meticulously chosen, then retired after just one single exclusive run. Their focus was clearly terps over tests, mouthfeel over math, which means prioritizing those complex aromatic compounds, the terpenes, and the full sensory experience of the smoke, not just chasing high THC numbers on a lab report. As Jig himself puts it perfectly, I think, flavor fakes can't fake. Given that incredibly strict limited production, what does that signal about their strategy and the value they were creating?
This unwavering commitment to microbatch and the emphasis on experiential quality, focusing on terps and mouthfeel over just numbers, it really highlights a profound dedication to craft. It cultivates this understanding in the consumer that, okay, you're getting something truly special, something limited, something thoughtfully produced. And that creates immense value way beyond the usual market standards. This scarcity, this perceived exclusivity, it naturally drives up demand, lets them command a premium. But maybe more importantly, it fosters this passionate, loyal customer base who really trusts the brand's commitment to a superior, unique experience. It's a real testament to quality over quantity.
Okay, so they've got this unique product, amazing art, commentary, top quality. How did they actually get it to people? They pioneered what our source calls a trap-to-table distribution model. Think about this. Encrypted menus, whispered locations like Harlem side doors, specific Buddy's Bodega pickups, exclusive LA pop-ups. These weren't just sales. These drops moved like art heists coded, quick, collectible. So essentially, they turned buying cannabis into this high-stakes, almost underground event. Reminds me a bit of sneaker drops, right? Or limited edition art sales, that kind of frenzy. Was creating that exclusive participation deliberate, or did it just kind of happen?
Oh, our sources definitely point to it being a highly intentional strategy. It seems rooted in understanding the psychology of desire and scarcity. What's fascinating here is how they totally transformed the act of distribution. It became this exclusive, event-driven experience. It's not just about getting the product anymore. It becomes about being part of the hunt, engaging in the quest. And that profoundly deepens the brand's mystique. It fosters this strong sense of community and loyalty among a dedicated base of collectors. It's not just buying something, it's an adventure. It builds an emotional connection, makes each purchase feel like a win.
And they backed all this exclusivity, all this intrigue with something crucial: receipts over hype. They knew that in a world full of talk, proof matters. Community reels, partner tags, and menus verified each run. So it wasn't just about selling. Collectors weren't just buying. They were essentially archiving these drops just as much as the captions and stories that came with them. It became this documented history. How did that transparency within what was otherwise a pretty opaque distribution model help solidify the brand?
Well, that transparent approach directly counters the skepticism you often find in a market driven by, hype.
Right.
By providing verifiable receipts, this paper trail through community validation, official tags, they built this foundational trust within their audience. It actually allowed the community itself to validate the authenticity and the value of each release. And that's an incredibly powerful differentiator. In an environment where there's a lot of uncertainty, this provided a sense of security, a sense of belonging. It transformed casual buyers into genuine advocates, into archivists of the brand's journey. It's a very, very smart way to leverage community for credibility.
And the Jig Is Up also became this hub for incredible culture collisions. Instead of just reading a list, let's maybe touch on a couple that really show their knack for authentic integration, like their motion partnership with Babyface Ray. That wasn't just sticking a name on a bag, was it? It felt like a real fusion, where the product was woven into the artist's lifestyle, their music. It boosted both brands organically.
Exactly. It felt authentic.
Or consider the buzz around Chicken PRS, The Jig Is Up, apparently a huge fan favorite. That showed their knack for tapping into specific, really beloved cultural touchstones within their community. What makes these collaborations so impactful? Why do they go beyond just typical branding exercises?
These collaborations really show a masterful understanding of cultural synergy. Like you said, they weren't just transactional branding deals, they were authentic fusions. Music, art, diverse subcultures. Each partnership amplified the brand's reach and relevance far beyond just the cannabis space. They understood that to be a cultural phenomenon, you have to be part of the culture. You have to speak its language, embrace its icons. By aligning with artists and creators who already had that genuine street credibility, they didn't just borrow influence. They co-created these new cultural moments that resonated really deeply with their target audience.
And in 2024, they took this even further. They teamed up with Detroit rapper Baby Money for Operation Him, described as a military file-style release that literally blended music and Mylors. And for anyone listening, Mylors are those specialized, often art-heavy foil bags used for cannabis. So they weren't just releasing a product and a song separately. The actual physical packaging became part of the album experience. That level of integration is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, that move powerfully demonstrates how they consistently push boundaries, right? Making the product and its packaging integral, inseparable parts of this larger, multi-sensory artistic statement. It's about creating an entire immersive universe for the consumer, where every single element contributes to the story. It's just this evolution from just commentary to actually orchestrating a whole experience, blurring the lines between product, art, and music in a way that really engages all the senses. It's not just consumption anymore, it's full immersion.
And speaking of packaging, foil as function completely became theater. We're talking incredible details, UV hits, AR Easter eggs, even hidden tech deck ramps embedded right into the design.
Yeah, amazing details.
By 2025, a Merino infantry collab shipped in a box that wasn't just a box, it actually folded out into a functional skate park. This just drove home their philosophy. If the bag wasn't part of the merch, you missed the moment. This isn't just clever, it feels revolutionary for packaging. What does this tell us about how they understand engagement and maybe the future of product design?
It's a fantastic example, isn't it? Viewing packaging not just as this utilitarian container, but as an interactive art piece, an extension of the product itself. It transforms what's normally a passive interaction, opening a bag, into this active, playful engagement. It makes the packaging itself a coveted collectible, a significant part of the whole brand experience. It speaks to a deep understanding that consumers, well, you are looking for more than just a product. You crave experiences, novelty, the joy of discovery. By making the packaging part of the merch, they've essentially made every single purchase a miniature event, driving both that immediate excitement and long-term collectability.
And right at the heart of all this, the absolute center, is the founder, This Not Jig. Described by our sources as curator, designer, satirist, they're deeply involved in every single layer. They write the captions, they personally choose the cuts, they turn each release into this carefully orchestrated reveal. What's the impact of having one single visionary person so intimately connected to every aspect of the brand in today's crowded market?
Well, it raises an important question, doesn't it, about the enduring power of a true visionary. When one individual is so profoundly, so personally involved in every single layer, from product selection to the narrative crafting, the entire artistic direction, it fosters this unparalleled coherence, this authenticity. And that deep personal touch resonates profoundly with consumers because it just feels genuine. It feels unfiltered. It means the brand's message is consistent, its quality is uncompromising, and its artistic expression is truly unique. It really isn't just flower. And it certainly isn't just foil. It is a meticulously crafted, multifaceted experience, all stemming from that initial intuitive hustle we talked about at the beginning.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? The Jig Is Up really shows us how deep attention to craft, how understanding and engaging with culture, and how bold creative expression can transform what seems like a simple product into a genuine phenomenon. From a founder's raw vision, rooted in that deep hustle, to packaging that literally becomes interactive art. They've completely rewritten the rules. Proving a brand can be so much more than just what it sells.
Yeah, this entire deep dive truly underscores a critical insight, I think. In an era of just information overload, relentless mass production, true value ultimately comes from authenticity, from innovative storytelling, and from this relentless, uncompromising commitment to an elevated, memorable experience. It's about creating not just a product that people consume, but an entire culture that people actually want to be a part of. It's a really powerful lesson in brand building, relevant to any industry, really.
We've explored how the Jig Is Up took cannabis and transformed it into an art form, a collectible, a powerful cultural statement. Now, here's a thought for you to mull over as we wrap up. If a brand can turn a simple bag of flour into a multi-sensory collectible art piece and a vehicle for sharp cultural commentary, what other everyday objects out there are just ripe for a similar imaginative revolution? What incredible possibilities open up when you stop seeing a product as just a product and maybe start seeing it as a platform for boundless creativity and real cultural connection?